The great I told you so is here. We told you that they were eventually going to turn this thing into the mandatory MOTB. Well, this is an article I read, and download, save this to your computer, or look for it on BitChute. And I'm going to try to get Odyssey, but anyhow. Taking Vanessa from needle to chip with a 1-year grant from the federal government. So obviously this is going to be next year, right? With a 1-year grant from the federal government's Biometrical Advanced Research and Development Authority, the Weiss Institute has become one of the 3 participants in the ImmunoChip Plus program. Saying Vanessa and chip in the same sentence might elicit skepticism from a portion of the population, but combining those 2 technologies is exactly what Weiss Institute senior research scientist aims to accomplish. Goyle co-leads a new research team at Harvard's Weiss Institute which works on bioengineering projects. With a 1-year grant from the federal government's Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, the Institute has become one of the 3 participants in the ImmuneChip Plus program. This federal program aims to build upon existing immune chip technology, a chip that contains human cells and replicates the function of certain parts of the immune system. Goyle's team hopes to automate how the chip functions, so monitoring its data output becomes more convenient. These are the miracles which he had sight to do, which he had power to do in the sight of, well, you know, you can't say the word, right? Her interest in organ chip technology stems from ever-present weaknesses in the drug development process she observed while completing her PhD in immunology. A plastic petri dish containing human cell cultures could only give so much information about the treatments she was studying. So we told you, didn't we? We told you what this was leading to. Researchers typically bring the data collected by the chip back into their labs and workspaces for analysis, but they are aiming for the chip to eventually monitor the biomarkers it makes itself. They hope this system will streamline an often time-consuming and cumbersome analytical process. See how they had power to do in the sight of the introduction of technology like the chip into Vanessa testing could help as an added layer of safety against hyperinflammatory responses that often appear in human trials, despite previous success in animal models. So you see, they've been putting this into animals for years, so now that they've got that all conducted, they're ready for those semiconductors. Now you know the truth about those so-called shortages, don't you? Well, fuck. I wish this goddamn shit wouldn't fucking come up! God damn it, I don't want that! So, making sure that our call for election is sure, that we are aligned with what Rikal Kadash is telling us. Shalom, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rikal Kadash, double honors to the apostles, a great millstone who are teaching this truth in sincerity, and a shout out to Yakians out there in the 4 quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Brakah the Yahweh, Brakah the Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rikal Kadash, Brakatan. So, making sure that we're in alliance with what Rikal Kadash is saying. Well, we've been telling you for a long time that the components of the MOTB is, in fact, you know, what's going on now with all these shutdowns that's happened in the last couple of years to what's happening now with the mandates is all leading towards the mandatory MOTB. And that the needle is going to be very much replaced by micro components. You know, thus the head of Microsoft is going to make the microscopic tag to be implanted in everyone to track their every movements. which is why you have the main players. You know, Bill Gates, Joe Biden. You got the main guy, Andrew Fucky, who is always around because, again, we've been under a national emergency. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is the one that's running everything. And they have already made their chess moves all around the world, including Magog. Russia has Sputnik. A lot of the places in the EU have AstraZeneca. And then over here you got Pfizer, but you also have Johnson & Johnson as well as Moderna. So all those in place, well, guess what? They all have the components to the MOTB. But it's not going to be a needle anymore. Eventually, those booster shots and everything else is going to be microscopically tagged for everyone to track their every movement. You see how this is rolling out, and you see that the economy is busted. And just like the article I read, it's all there. You see, once they make this mandatory, having all those things together, the digital wallet, the digital passport, which can only be by those that have taken the mandatory, you know what, as all there. All the pieces fall into place. Now, of course, like everything else, we cannot say the words because of certain things. A feminine word is here because, again, we cannot tell you exactly what it is. But you have to guess what we're talking about. But it's becoming mandatory, isn't it? You're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're not going to be able to go to work. Well, if you don't have any income coming in from work, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, pretty much, right? Because you have no income. You know, your job security. And this is where the temptation comes in. But we, the elect, will not be tempted by such things because our faith and trust is in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and He will provide the rest. Some people have no faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Most people have no faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. For one, they don't know the name, and for two, they're not Israelites, and for three, they could be the 2/3 who don't have faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, but rather worship idols, you know, which are the pagan names that they call upon. Well, by now you should know that there is no Jesus fucking Christ, because how many times have people called on Jesus fucking Christ and it ain't worked? Hasn't worked yet. Lots of tempests have happened and it hasn't worked yet. Hasn't saved anybody yet. Oh, I thought there was supposed to be a rapture of the church, right? But you can see there's no rapture, and this MOTB is being rolled out. Well, if the MOTB has been rolled out, then the Antichrist must have already made his appearance, hasn't he? But it's not Damien Thorne now, is it? No, you thought that it would just be one to rule the world, right? Because you were taught that the first beast is the Antichrist. Well, anti-Messiah can be many things, because there are many Antichrists. But you weren't taught that way, you know. No, you were taught something else. You were taught the plantation Christianity, which has led you astray. You know, to follow after all their philosophies, which is what led to the first downfall. You see how this all plays in? You see the first fall, and now here we are in the second death, which is the lake of fire. First it was destroyed by flood. Now, going to be destroyed by fire, the everlasting fire, that lake of fire, where death and hell will be cast into. So anybody who's still teaching the hell doctrine, obviously, if death and hell are going to be cast in the lake of fire, then where's death and hell going to be? Because I thought that was supposed to be eternal. Oh, I know, because the rise of their torment had gone up. But you see, it's going to go up in one, up in smoke, right? It's going to go up. It's a nuclear missile. I mean, pretty much it's the nuclear destruction that comes by way of them fiery serpents, you know. having a head of talent of lead that are going to make their target. These strong archers are going to be fired to the four quarters of the earth. And all the cities of the world shall be troubled. We'll be unto Babylon and Asia. Well, nonetheless, though, the great I told you so, well, we're a little bit past that now, aren't we? Now we're into the times where it's going to keep on playing out until finally, last trumpet. Well, we told you, though. We told you that everything was planned out. From the very get-go, they had a plan. And their plan was to make sure that everyone gets the implantable chip, the implantable microchip. So those that are out there going and getting, you know what, are going to continue getting their booster, which is going to be in their MOTB. The MOTB is here. So, like everything else, I'm going to read a couple more scriptures here. I'm going to close this out, and it's on to the next one. The MOTB is here. Now, how this plays out in the next few months to the next year, well, that's going to speed up everything else, including World War III, which leads to that final destruction. Destruction, not distraction. So, here it is. We told you. We told you that everything was in place. As we hasten the coming day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, this is a big one. As we know that the MOTB has to be made mandatory, and then World War III will come in a day and an hour no one expects. Blessed is he that watcheth, lest he run naked. A lot of people are running naked right now because they don't know what the fuck's going on. But we know what the fuck's going on. Shalom, and I will read those last scriptures and close. And so here we are right now. You know, Revelation chapter 14, beginning in verse 9. Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worships the beast in his image, you know, whoever's receiving those you-know-whats, well, that's part of worshiping the beast in his image, is it not? And receiveth his mark in his forehead or in his hand, he shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out into the full strength into his cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. That is the chariots, and of course by way of the nuclear missiles, those fiery serpents. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receives the mark of his name. And did Joe Biden not say it subliminally? He did. Most recently, Apostle Tahar put up a video, you know, where he's like, he utters the word 666. So we know it's all here. Yeah. And like everything else, we're going to hasten to come in the day, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. This is about all I can really say on YouTube. Just watch for me on BitChute. That's where I've been at for a while now, because again, you know, you know, it's getting to a point that almost everything's going to be on BitChute or Odyssey or whatever other means we have, because they're taking down channels right and left, which proves that we're in the time of the famine of the word. So the only thing left is this to be made mandatory, and you can see how close it is. Shalom.